Yo, what's going on, y'all? It's Combo Breaker 99. I'm back with my post-fight analysis for Stipe Miocic versus Daniel Cormier 3. All right, y'all, the rivalry's over. The trilogy is over. The rubber match is done. And Stipe Miocic, he was able to make the proper adjustments in this fight, adjust to whatever DC was bringing to the table, and he pulled out a unanimous decision over DC this go round. And it pretty much went like I said as far as the keys to victory for both of these fighters. I felt like DC was going to use everything like he did in the first fight and pull out the late round stoppage this go round, because he definitely had the tools. He was showing these tools in this fight, but it was almost like, I don't know, it's like whenever fighters, after a while, they kind of lose that flame that they did in the first and second go round. Like there were times in this fight where you looked at DC and like DC wasn't taking the crazy chances like he did in the first and second fight. And sometimes you have to find that balance. Like you have to find that balance between your technical skills and the heart. You know what I mean? You got to act on guts at the right timing. And like DC knew when to act in the first fight, in the second fight. He was like going balls to the wall in the first fight with his boxing. Even though he should have been wrestling, he was like boxing the hell and striking the hell out of Stipe in the first round till he knocked him out. Then the second fight, he was winning until he got tired. And then Stipe made those adjustments in the fourth round and caught him, started breaking him down the fourth round. But like this go round, like DC, like he didn't seem like he didn't know what to commit to. Like he wouldn't commit to his boxing. He didn't commit to his jab. Like when he landed the right hand, that money shot, he would not commit to it. Like he was just letting rounds go. Like the number one thing that people were, screaming out is like, where the hell is your wrestling, man? Like, why were you not wrestling? Why were you trying to stand with this guy? Like, I don't understand that. Like, there are times like I see a lot of MMA fighters, they like to do everything. They like to wrestle. They say, oh, boxers, they can't do this. Strikers, they get taken down and they get choked. They get choked out, and that's it. But it was like in this fight, why was DC not trying to do that then? Why was he trying to box with the boxer instead of just taking him down? Like, I felt like DC had the boxing skill to beat him if he stayed in the pocket, but when Stipe found that range and he was just boxing from the outside nicely with his jab and then body shots this time, I was like, yo, take him to the ground. Take his ass to the ground and wear him out. Put that weight on him. Slam him. Get some takedowns. But he was just like not pulling the trigger enough. Like he was just doing enough to kind of bang Stipe here and there and kind of put Stipe on alert. So Stipe would go back to like making sure he was good. Like, oh, I got to remember my focus. Oh, he's still alive. He's still alive out there. So let me not sleep. I got to keep working. Like he was just doing enough to wake Stipe up. But every time Stipe wake up, he'd go right back to his game plan. So DC didn't really have a full-on game plan this time. Like he did not commit to whatever worked in the first and second fight for him. I don't understand why. And like this was before the eye poke too. This was before all of that. But like going back and looking at the first round, Stipe right away, his stand-up was better. He was going to the body and to the head. He was landing a good 1-2 right away. He was finding home for his body shots. He was going ahead straight up the middle. DC got in the takedown real quick. He went in for the takedown, and I was like, okay, he's switching the fight up. This is what he wants. He went in for a guillotine attempt, but he didn't get it. So then he went back to standing with him. And like Stipe is like mixing it up now. Like when he got back up, he went back to landing his right hand. He found a home for his right hand. He's landing some good leg kicks too. Like he's tagging DC with these leg kicks and going straight back to the body. And then, DC came back with a good left hook. But I was like, okay, like Steve, okay, you cracked Stipe here, but you're not following up like you did in the first fight. You're not following up like you did in the second fight. Like you're not really backing him up here. You letting him find his footing. And like I said, my keys to victory, Stipe need to move more. He need to move more side to side. Like the head is still straight, but you better move them legs. Stipe's round. Second round, I think the pace was a little bit faster here. Stipe was being a little bit more patient, but faster on DC's part because Stipe being more patient. You see more jabbing from DC, and then DC like he coming in the pocket landing double right hands, and I'm like, okay, now you finding it. Like you landing double right hands, you landing combos, and you really tagging Stipe here. But again, you letting Stipe step back out and wake up and reset. Stipe go back enough to defend himself and make the second round close. So the second round, I think to me it kind of went either way, but I think Stipe was doing enough boxing here to kind of control it. He started, using more technical skill here, and I think that he got the second round too. Third round, Stipe again using that reach, using a beautiful reach, and just jabbing to the body, coming up top with the right hand. And in the clinch, he's just like pinning DC. Like, he's leaning on DC on the fence. DC ain't doing shit really. Like Stipe is just putting pressure and bodying him. Like Stipe is just holding. And DC is not even like trying to get the takedown. He's not even trying to get the single leg takedown and get him down to the ground like on the fence. He's just like riding minutes out here. And then, Stipe gets the eye poke here. So like when that eye poke happens, I know a lot of people kept saying DC poked him in the eye, but I think some of those are just off of habit, the way his hands were. But like the way DC ate that eye poke, I was like, wow, that was a big one, man. That one, like, it really did some damage because you could not see DC's eye from here. Like, he said he couldn't see, but you could not like see the eye in there. So from here, he was just like really losing it from here. And Stipe was just landing better strikes and controlled that third round. So it was another Stipe round. Fourth round, Stipe with his range with the jab. And my number one thing I said that he needed to do was be first. And that's what he was doing throughout this fight. He was being first. In the fourth round, he was being first, landing a good range jab, good leg kicks again, and good body shots. Body shots all the way around. And this is where I said, okay, maybe DC is going to start wrestling. But is he wrestle? No. He still won't take Stipe down. I mean, you came in there, the heavier guy, you're the stronger guy with your wrestling. So much like he should have did in the first fight with the takedown, second fight with the takedown, you didn't never see him shoot in for the double leg and just take Stipe down. Because Stipe was getting tired too. Now, Stipe, his mental focus was getting drained because DC was eating a lot of shots and he was still coming. And he was still delivering shots. I mean, Stipe was landing more, but DC was still landing enough effective shots where he was cracking Stipe and kind of waking him up with the right hand and almost buckled Stipe a couple times with the right hand. So I was like, now's your chance to take him to the ground, switch that rhythm up, take it to the ground and just win this ground with your wrestling. But did he do that? Nope, still didn't do that. Still fighting behind Stipe and getting cracked with some big right hands. And like, I don't get this. Like, Stipe is just like being first here. Like, DC's not understanding he's the faster fighter. Like, he won't fight first. He's fighting behind Stipe. So Stipe is just getting into better strikes. Once again, outboxing DC. Another Stipe round. Last round in the clinch again. Starts off right in the clinch. I see Stipe controlling most of this, just kind of riding around out. Again, DC's landing big right hands in the clinch, but he's still not doing much here. He's just kind of riding around out. He's not really even trying to go for the Hail Mary and take him down. And I know it's the eye, but he was doing this before the eye. Like I said, I think Stipe was just fighting a much more methodical fight. But here I think more strikes were landed by DC. DC landed a couple good hits here where I thought he was going to knock Stipe out. I actually did see some good shots landed here. Stipe hit him and cracked him a couple times. But DC would come back with some. So I was just like, this is a good round here. This is a good round. It could be close. He could stop him. But 10 seconds came, and like DC didn't even have that thunder to really try to go after him. And last round, I did give the DC. But overall, I think it was 3 rounds to 2 for Stipe. I think that Stipe 1, 2, 3, and 4. I gave 1 and 5 to DC. And all because, I felt like Stipe was being first. Like, honestly, Stipe is a good boxer and a good striker, but I think that DC can hang with him. He could definitely hang with him. He showed him that in the first fight. He can hang with him if he's focused and he's letting go, but he has to be first and he has to be in the pocket. Like, you can't box Stipe from a range. Stipe is the longer fighter, so you got to stay in the pocket and you got to come over the top with the right hand because you can hurt Stipe easy within the pocket fight. But DC also has a plan B, an excellent plan B, or if you want to call it his plan A, his wrestling. He could have used either he's in the pocket fighting or wrestling. But instead, he chose to fight behind Stipe, and Stipe just fought a more technical fight. And, he just came out the better fighter here. He made the right adjustments in this one and, didn't take crazy chances. And he was able to beat DC fair and square this time. So, yeah, that's the end of the trilogy, man. But it was a good trilogy. Like I said, man, DC's an excellent fighter. He's definitely going down as one of the greats. Stipe, one of the best heavyweights. And we're going to see what's going to go on from here. I think DC's done. He's going to retire. So that might be best for him. Stipe, he might be stepping back in there with a rematch with Francis Ngannou. So we'll see, man. But overall, it was a good fight. I like what I saw as far as the striking. This is one of the best UFC trilogies I remember. You know, all 3 fights were good. This one went to the decision, but I like decisions. You know, I like actual technical fights like this. But overall, it was good. Shout out to DC. Shout out to Stipe Miocic. Both put on great trilogy for MMA history. But yeah, man, that's all I got on this, guys. Let me know what y'all think of the trilogy. What you think DC should do from here. Also, who you think Stipe should fight from here. Combo Breaker 99. I'm out. Peace.